The little girl's shoes were too big for her feet, and she kept tripping over the loose laces as she stood alone by the swings. Daniel noticed her from across the park, a knot forming in his chest as he watched her wipe her face with the back of her hand, trying not to cry. Parents laughed nearby, children ran past, but no one seemed to notice that this girl was completely alone. Daniel, a single father who had learned to read fear the moment it appeared in a child's eyes, felt his instincts take over. He stood up, leaving his son Leo playing in the sandbox, and walked toward her. He had no idea that this small act of kindness would soon turn his quiet life upside down. Daniel knelt to her level and spoke softly, careful not to scare her. Her name was Lily. She said it between shaky breaths, clutching the chain of the swing as if it were the only thing keeping her steady. She didn't know where her mother was, only that she had been told to wait right there. Daniel's heart sank. He'd been a single dad for 5 years, ever since Leo's mother passed away, and the thought of a child being left alone, even by accident, hit him hard. He offered Lily his jacket when he noticed her shivering, and she accepted it without hesitation, trusting him in a way that felt both fragile and profound. Daniel sat with Lily on a nearby bench while he called park security. He tried to keep her distracted, asking about her favorite cartoons and snacks, and she slowly relaxed, her small fingers gripping the sleeve of his jacket. Leo wandered over, curious, and without being prompted, handed Lily one of his toy cars. She smiled for the first time, and Daniel felt a lump rise in his throat. In that moment, he saw not just a lost child, but a reflection of his own son's vulnerability, and the responsibility adults carried to protect it. Minutes stretched on, and Lily began to worry again. She asked if her mother was angry, if she had done something wrong. Daniel reassured her gently, telling her that sometimes grown-ups make mistakes too. Inside, though, he was anxious. He imagined frantic parents, terrible misunderstandings, and worst of all, a child who had been forgotten. He promised Lily that he would stay with her until her mom arrived, no matter how long it took. The sound of a luxury car pulling up to the park broke the quiet tension. A woman stepped out, her movements quick and purposeful, her face pale with panic. She scanned the park desperately until her eyes landed on Lily. She ran, heels sinking into the grass, and dropped to her knees in front of her daughter, pulling her into a tight embrace. Tears streamed down her face as she apologized over and over, her voice breaking with relief and guilt. Lily clung to her, crying now too, the fear finally spilling out. Daniel stood back, ready to slip away quietly, but the woman noticed him. She looked up, gratitude flooding her expression as she stood and approached him. She thanked him repeatedly, her words sincere and urgent. She introduced herself as Claire. There was something about her that felt different, not just her elegant clothes or the expensive car, but the weight she carried in her posture, like someone used to being in control and terrified by the moment she wasn't. As they talked, Claire explained that she had been on an important call and had assumed Lily was sitting on a nearby bench. The mistake had lasted only minutes, but those minutes had changed everything for her. Daniel listened without judgment. He knew how easy it was to be overwhelmed, how one lapse could haunt a parent forever. He told her that Lily had been brave, that she had waited just like she was told. Claire's eyes filled with tears again. Before leaving, Claire hesitated, then asked Daniel for his number. She said she wanted to thank him properly, maybe buy him and his son dinner. Daniel was surprised but agreed, thinking it was just a polite gesture. As she drove away with Lily, he felt a strange sense of unfinished business, as if something important had just brushed past his life. A few days later, Daniel's phone rang. Claire invited him and Leo to dinner at her home. When they arrived, Daniel realized just how different her world was from his. The house was enormous, quiet in a way that felt lonely despite its size. Over dinner, Claire opened up in ways Daniel hadn't expected. She revealed that she was a billionaire, the CEO of a global company, constantly pulled in 1,000 directions. Success had given her everything except peace. Lily, she admitted, often felt like an afterthought in her own life, a truth that haunted Claire more than any business failure ever had. The secret came out slowly, carefully. Claire confessed that Lily's father had walked away before she was born, choosing ambition over family. Claire had told the world she didn't need anyone, that she could do it all alone. But the truth was, she was exhausted, and the fear she felt in the park had shattered the illusion she had built around herself. She realized she was one mistake away from losing what mattered most. Daniel shared his own story, of losing his wife, of learning to raise Leo while carrying grief that never fully went away. He talked about the nights he cried after Leo fell asleep, terrified he wasn't enough. Their worlds were vastly different, yet in that moment, they were just two parents trying to do their best with the pieces life had given them. Challenges didn't disappear overnight. Claire struggled to slow down, to choose Lily over meetings and deals. Daniel wrestled with feeling out of place in Claire's world, worried that their differences were too great. Lily and Leo, however, formed a bond instantly, reminding both adults that children don't see status or loss, only kindness and presence. Over time, Claire began to change. She delegated more, canceled trips, and showed up to school events herself. Daniel learned to accept help, to believe that love could grow again without replacing what he had lost. There were setbacks, misunderstandings, and moments when fear threatened to pull them apart. But each time, they chose honesty over pride, connection over control. The story didn't end with a dramatic declaration or a perfect resolution. It ended with something quieter and more powerful. A family picnic at the same park where it all began. Lily laughed on the swings, Leo pushed her, and Claire sat beside Daniel on the bench, her phone left in the car. The past hadn't disappeared, and the future wasn't guaranteed, but in that moment, they were exactly where they needed to be. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness lead to the biggest changes. Daniel had simply walked across a park to help a lost girl. Claire had arrived with a secret that shattered her carefully built world. Together, they learned that true wealth isn't measured in money or success, but in the courage to show up, to care, and to protect what matters most.